Agrivaal building in Pretoria. Marco, I'm not even going to attempt your surname, I'm afraid, from PKA International Architects. You could teach me that.
I'll give you a crash course.
Thanks.
It's Marco Macagnano, by the way. Thanks, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm here to present to you the first government on a national level green star building earmarked for Tshwane in the CBD. Now, in terms of the point of departure, what the brief called for was the development of an A-grade office space that could be sustainably designed and future-proofed. Now, the importance there was that this building would remain feasible and usable for the building in the long term, as well as an iconic landmark for the government to not only fit the bill of a contemporary green building for the city and indeed the country, but also to set the trend for future government building and the built environment in general. Our approach was a simple one. The government appointed us as part of a consortium, and you can see our range of logos there at the bottom of the screen, in which we came in as an integrated group, where we had the ability to integrate expertise from all ranges, including space planning, facilities management, and engineering, to bring together a collective expertise in developing this building from the ground up, making sure that we covered all bases and we're able to address all potential problems from the onset. The proposal for this building is then also to achieve an as-built rating in the future. So in terms of where we are, having a look at the Tshwane CBD, the site has afforded a number of important attributes. The first and foremost being its proximity to the Union buildings. You can see there in the center of the screen. The site, in fact, lies within 600 meters of the Union buildings, walking distance, one could say. And this in itself is of extreme importance because of its not only iconic nature in terms of the new ground that the government is looking to proceed down, but also the fact that it now shares iconic status in terms of defining the new city skyline in close proximity to something that we've all grown up appreciating. Additionally to this, we know that the site lies within an existing mixed-use CBD. Now this is extremely important because it gives the site the ability to build upon existing infrastructures, in particular the transport infrastructure. There's also the fact that it is complementary to the Tshwane Inner City Regeneration Program. And this site and this building forms an integral piece to that puzzle, and making sure that the building not only complements the inner city regeneration ideals that are visioned for the city, but also seeks to interact to set the trend. The site itself was a result, or the site choice was a result of an option analysis done of a variety of sites. And this site was chosen not only because of the points I've raised previously, but because of the fact that it also represented, it had no ecological value to pose any problems. And one can see that the site itself was already readily developed upon. The entire footprint of the site was in reception of degraded and dilapidated buildings, and one of the surprises that emerged out of the design process was that a portion of the existing building was actually need to be retained due to historical significance. In fact, the challenge of this poses not only would we need to renovate and restore this building, but integrate it into the final design proposal. So the clearance of the site was earmarked with a waste management plan in place for 70% reduction of waste and a recycling of the existing material wherever possible. The close proximity to local amenities also meant that this building serves an iconic role in the scope of the city, due to the fact that not only will it be drawing upon the local amenities of the surrounding area within 400 meters, one can see that at walking distance, but we envisage that the building will also seek to catalyze an urban regeneration within its immediate local context. So there's a symbiosis that's been developed between the site itself and its local surroundings. Not only will the local infrastructure and public be receptive to improvements, but also the building itself will draw upon these for eventual and long-term success. So the project is multifaceted. There's demolition, there's restoration, partial renovation, and construction of a new building. It really encapsulates the full spectrum of architectural engineering challenges. This building is seeking to operate at the forefront of current building technologies and the building management systems. And this building, I should say, once again, is an iconic project to set the trend for the future of government buildings and the building industry in general. So this is what we were presented with. This is the existing Agrivaal building, the building which is given a name to the project, Agrivaal, as has been mentioned previously. And this building there went, in terms of where we started, the vision then quickly emerged. How we would latch onto this building and how the interrelationship between old and new would be represented in this new vision for architecture in South Africa, drawing upon the lessons of the past. And this is a view from the southeast. And one can see that we also used the proportion and the shape of the existing building to actually influence and form the proportion and shape of the new building. The lower podium giving rise to a new fluid and curved shape of the new building rising into the CBD skyline. A variety of materials have also been used on the exterior for purposes of low maintenance. We've indicated large glass surfaces, aluminium, as well as off-shutter concrete and face bricks. This means that the character and aesthetic appeal of the building will be assured of being preserved for its entire lifespan, which should be, in our opinion, for a generation or two at least. We've also managed to indicate or earmark specific locations for solar shading and aluminium louvers where deemed critical. And the success of this project is also going to be, as an icon, is the fact that it really departs from the aesthetic of existing buildings in and around its area by a large degree. It's going to be something special, something unique to the local landscape. Now, this building was actually modeled as a BIM, a building information model, and this allowed us to have seamless integration with the rest of our expertise, or the rest of our services, or the rest of our team, I should say, when interrogating the design right from concept through to construction detailing. And this is an example where the building information model was provided to WSP Green by Design for assistance in identifying the key areas of solar influence on the building, where we should target solar shading devices and louvers, and what the influence of surrounding context would be as well in our building, as well as the evaluation of the scale of the project in reference to its surrounding context. The overview of the building shows that we have actually maximized the site to a large degree, and one can see there the seamless integration of new building and old building, and the fact that they celebrate each other, I should say. The building itself, approximately 27,000 square meters of office and support space. The building has 6 basement levels which corkscrew their way down to earth. And the beauty of that corkscrew is that it actually creates within its center the opportunity to centralize the services to the building. There's a central atrium as well, which we designed in close, I should say, with feedback from the green consultants, whereby we sought to drive natural light as far deep into the interior of the building as possible. Due to the fact that the building is roughly square in shape, we wanted to make sure that not only do we create vibrant light interiors that would create an amazing entrance look and feel, but also visual communication between all spaces on the interior, creating a transparency of this government departments to the public as well, where we could centralize all circulation around the central core, which is going to be naturally lit, but also to identify as well the possibility of maximizing natural light to its fullest potential. And this is where we sought to maximize the availability of energy points to reduce the need for artificial lighting wherever possible. In fact, throughout most of the building, one can see that gave rise to a typical floor plate of this nature. What we sought to do as a rule of thumb was to limit the depth of office space by inclusion of this H to 15 meters, because that would then give us the flexibility of internal partitioning and layouts. We've also designed this building to work in a repetitive grid so that any number of these layouts can be reproduced over time. And due to the fact that we've incorporated access flooring into all levels and a demountable partitioning system, this means that this building can be reconfigured over time, countless times, to the discretion of the future department, and allow then the flexibility to be able to give equal opportunity to access of services to any number of areas in this building for secular office space or open plan office spaces, depending on how the government department seeks to evolve over time. Indoor environmental quality, you saw a 50% improvement on fresh air requirements as per the national building regulations. Carbon dioxide monitors at all levels. 60% of our office space is a view. And of the 60%, we actively designed a reduction of glare by 80% to these spaces. PMV levels between -1 and +1, and low volatile organic compounds used wherever possible. The HVAC system is a success to this project as well, in the sense that it's ice storage. It will store ice during peak energy demand periods, using that ice or during low energy demand periods, using that ice to cool down the air for recirculation inside of the building passively during high energy demand periods of the day. We've got energy meters on all floors, and we made sure that lux levels are preserved at desk height throughout the entire building, using high frequency ballast for 100% of usable area. Building management system of the highest standard has been incorporated, including a sewing room with staff to be monitored and actively run during the course of the day. And we've actually managed to actively reduce peak energy demand by 15%. Water, efficient water fixtures, grey water treatment to store grey water for reuse in the building in terms of toilets and basins, toilets and irrigation, water meters, and no potable water used for air conditioning. The materials, we've managed to source 20% of materials locally, which is a feat in itself, due to the fact that we're pushing the boundaries of building technology. We've also managed to reduce PVC and Portland cement. And in terms of emissions, refrigerants have an ozone depletion of 0, and we've also managed to reduce the impact on municipal systems, in particular stormwater and sewerage. Now, the land use was an interesting challenge because due to the fact that the site was completely developed upon and had a land use value, or it's the ecological value of 0, and due to the fact that our building, in fact, pushes itself in terms of footprint right the way up to the building lines, we had a challenge. Where do we get our greens? So, number one, we wanted to exploit the available space on land to incorporate landscaping wherever possible. You can see we identified the northern portion of the stand there. But number two, we thought, well, now we've got an opportunity to actually incorporate green space onto our building. So we attached it to the building structure by incorporating green roofs over the main body of the building as well. But we've also taken it a step further by introducing green spaces over the existing building for purposes of recreation. So it has a double role, and also betters the environmental quality of the workspace for its building occupants, as well, giving them space to relax and a connection with the CBD environment in and around itself. So in summary, Agrivaal seeks to set the new benchmark in government building design, construction and operations. It is the creation of a sustainable development that complements and improves its local setting, which is very important. Flexibility of use and operation for many years to come. Not only will it do its job well now, it will carry on doing its job well for the foreseeable future. This building needs to remain around and useful to the local government as well as the public for way past our generation's time, we hope. And it recognizes that green and sustainable construction design is no longer a nice to have, it's a minimum requirement, it's the way forward. So thank you very much for listening, we hope this has been informative.
Certainly has been more than informative.